Howdy neighbors, thanks for joining me today. Hope y'all are having a wonderful and blessed day. And well, the day has finally come that we can move the baby chicks into the grow pen that I have built. I'm calling it a grow pen. You can call it what. I've kind of based it mostly off of a Joe Salatin idea, if you're familiar with him, Joel Salatin. He has some really neat ideas, but he recommends not plastic, but I'm trying plastic for several different reasons. And you know, one thing might work somewhere else and not work in your area. And I'm not saying wood wouldn't work in my area. He makes his out of wood and aluminum topping for the metal. But anyway, my idea was to do this pipe. I seen someone else on YouTube doing this, and they made one out of PVC pipe. And since I'm in the construction trades, well, I felt like I could do this and not have too much trouble with it. So anyway, don't know if I even had the camera on me or not, but I can do this thing and put the plastic together. Very easy to work with. Plastic is PVC. I've used sewer pipe, 4-inch PVC sewer pipe. I think you could probably do a smaller size. I kind of like the bigger because of the way it glides across the land, and also being this thin PVC, it's flexible. So when I set it here, I let it set for now it's been 2 or 3 days, and it has the heat and stuff and this to the pipes, it's actually contoured even to the land. This is a pretty flat spot. My chicks, I'm gonna put out here big enough, I don't think they would have went under it anyway. I am wanting to put an electric fence around it. I haven't got that done. I want to put little insulators all the way around on this pipe and try to keep the skunks and varmints from coming in under it. But anyway, here's the finished product. I got my metal on. I've made a door here. I do have to get hinges for that. I want to make it where it'll just flip over. And so for right now, I put a temporary piece of metal there to hold this side. Now this thing wouldn't hold a lot of weight. I've got 2x4s across for my trusses. And so we don't get big snows or anything like that here. And so I'm not worried. But I probably won't have any birds in this in the wintertime anyway. But I wanting to get them trained to a nipple waterer, and this bucket here's got those little nipples. I've got it full of water, so I can't show you here now. But down there underneath, it's got little orange nipples, 4 of them, and chicks will get used to that. I may have it a little too low to the ground because they're getting a little bit bigger and they need to stretch up to get it, but it helps keep your pen cleaner. But I do have a traditional waterer, and I love these waterers. I don't know what brand they are. I've had some of these. This one's old. I've had it around here for a long time. It's stained up, looks ugly, but it still works. You can fill it up so easy from the top. But I'll quit doing that after a while and just use this nipple waterer. But I meant to get them started on the nipple water while they were in the brooder, and I never did do it. So since I didn't, I don't want to just switch them to one to the other and them not be prepared. I even have a little red feeder in here. I'm going to put feed in that's like the red feeder they're used to in their brooder. But I also got a hanging feeder, and I've got this adjusted off of the ground, and I'll keep it up off the ground to keep them from scratching it out. And I also have a wire over it so that when they want to fly and land on top of this stuff, and I don't want one to get stuck down in the feeder. You know, I know I'll have feed in it, but if the feeder gets empty, then they may. And I'm just using rebar across here, just some old rebar that I have, but it's more than sturdy enough to hold these up off the ground. And the idea is eventually when I get ready to move, I won't have to remove the waterers or nothing. They can just hang loose there. The feeder can hang loose, and I'll pull it that direction. I've got a rope up there to pull it with, and I can pull it and move it every day or as needed. I also have these on boards, this feeder. And these were some boards I ordered for the back step of our house, and they were too narrow, and they're treated and everything so they won't rot. But I had 4 or 5 of those, and I've been using them for stuff like this. But for right now, to give them kind of a clean area. But eventually, I won't need that little red feeder or this water in here. I'll just use this, what I call a nipple waterer. But anyway, we're going to go get the little chicks, and I'll just walk you around and show you again. If you've watched, I have a video putting this thing together roughly. I've got chicken wire all the way around it. I think my next one I may make a little bit taller, and I may make it with that little bitty small wire, the little square stuff, more like a screen stuff, and it would be super strong. But since I'm putting the electric fencer around this, I'll put those little insulators and just screw them into that, and if something comes up here trying to chew in or tear into the wire, hopefully they'll get a jolt. And we've had some skunk problems here. I think I've taken care of those, but the idea is to move this thing every few days from area to area. And when I don't know that I'll need to move it every day. With broiler chicks, if you had this filled to capacity, you probably would. These being smaller, may not have to move them every day, but I will move it and just slide it on down here, and that'll fertilize this. And then I'll go on down and just keep on, and it'll be a good way to fertilize the land. And if I like this, I'll probably build me 2 or 3 more. But I figure I've already got some little ideas that I'll tweak it a little bit more as I go along. But I did like the PVC pipe idea, and I may make one out of wood exactly like Joe Salatin's and just see with it too. But we were doing some plumbing work here, and I had some pipe, so I just ordered a little bit extra where I could make this here. And that lid, it's not very heavy at all, it'll lay down, but when I get my hinges on it, I'll be able just to flip it up and make it work without much effort, and I can feed and water in here. Well, we're gonna go get the babies and put them in here and see what they think about their new home. I had an escapee here. Hey, anyway, as you can tell, I got the baby chicks moved in their pen. And I've shared this before. I just give you my idea. People have been accustomed to eating white meat chicken. That's these big broiler cross heavy breed chickens. And to me, it's not the best tasting bird in the world. And I just, after being raised in the country, being raised on homegrown poultry crossbred birds of your own, they don't grow as quick. They don't get as big, but I think the taste is a whole lot. Now, if you're looking for economics, money, and you're putting pencil to paper and you're like, I want to make money off of my birds, or you're selling them, you want to make money, or you're trying to just save money, probably your broiler crosses might be a better deal. But I hatched these in my GQF incubator. Didn't cost me anything but my eggs that I already have here on the farm. And what I'll do is keep most of the pullets. May not keep them all, but I'll keep some of the pullets. And then we will send the roosters to freezer camp this fall. And so they're kind of slow growing. The broiler crosses in about 8 weeks you're ready to go. And these, it's going to take probably 3 or 4 months before they're ready to go. But when they're young and before they get too big, they make the best frying chicken you've ever had. Plus, you can do all kinds of other stuff with them. But we prefer them over the big broiler crosses. I've raised both. And I just say all that because someone's going to comment and say, you need to get broiler crosses. You need to do this. You need to do that. Well, we have raised broiler crosses. But I just wasn't as impressed with them as I do just your regular average bird that is homegrown. And that's just my preference. But I actually think I probably come out better in the long run financially if you was putting pen to paper with these birds than you would buying those broiler crosses and paying $2 or $3 a bird for them. But if you do them right, you know, broiler crosses are kind of touchy. You got to make sure you do everything perfect. But if you do, you know, you can get a big bird and get a lot of meat. But we like fried chicken a few times a year, and I like the little legs, and you just can't hardly get the little legs anymore. You go to the store, they say these big old things look like turkey drumsticks. And to me, the flavor isn't there, and they're just not as good. Now, some people will argue with me and say that's not so, and that's fine. I'm just telling you what my opinion is, the way I feel about it. But you can raise either one. It's what your family will eat and what you want. That's what you definitely want to raise, what you're going to eat and what you like and you prefer. But people have gotten so accustomed to go to the store and buying these big white fillets of chicken, boneless, skinless chicken breast, and paying an outrageous price for them. But they can do pretty much the same with these. They won't be as big, but they'll be smaller tenders, be just as good. But anyhow, also the idea of moving this pen is that they can live on grass. Some, you know, I'm going to feed them full feed. I'll keep feed all they want to eat in the feeder every day, and I got to go get feed and fill it up here. But I'll move this as needed, and as small as they are right now, they're all feathered out. They probably will take them a few days to get this kind of ate down, but they'll eat on that grass, eat the seeds, eat the bugs and stuff. And to me, that makes the meat taste better when they're raised that way. And it's more natural, but they still will have supplemental feed for extra protein and stuff like that. But anyway, we'll move them along and they get that to eat, and I just think you'll have a whole lot healthier bird. And one thing I want to say is when you first move chickens like this, anytime you move them, for the first few days you want to keep track of them. And I'll tell you something that I done here too. I had this sitting out here for 3 or 4 days, and I watched how the shade was, and you can see it shades clear over here, but underneath there it's got plenty of shade, and as the sun comes around all day long, this thing will have plenty of shade all the way around it, because you want to make sure your birds are cool. And this time in the summer where I'm moving these, you know, we get up around 100 degrees some, plus very high humidity, which makes your heat index a lot higher. So having these where they got plenty of shade, plenty of water, make sure they got plenty of water, and they should do just fine. But for a few days especially, I'll keep extra watch on them just to see if they're adjusting to their new surroundings. I think they will enjoy this here and love this big pen they have right here. Anyway, that's my video on the world's best grow pen for chickens. And we'll see how good it actually turns out as we begin to use it. I've had a big wooden one kind of built like this, but it was so heavy you couldn't hardly move it, and it was getting old, and when I did move it with the tractor, it'd try to fall apart and everything. And so finally I decided we'd retire it and build a new grow pen, and I actually think this is a lot cleaner, neater looking pen, and so I hope it does well. Should last me a long time. Hey, if you're not a subscriber, how about subscribing to our channel? It really helps us out. And also hit that thumbs up button if you like the video. And if you got a certain way that you're growing your pen or whatever, why leave a comment there. If you've got grow pens for your baby chickens, how you do it all, why we'd love to hear from you. Hey, God bless you. We're gone.